Welcome to the Medical Device Made Easy podcast. Here is Monir El Azzouzi from easymedicaldevice.com, and today we'll try to explain to you what is happening in the US because we have this US government shutdown. And for that, I have with me Rob Packard. So, Rob, welcome to the Medical Device Made Easy podcast.
Thank you for having me. It was very generous, and
Great.
I'm happy to be back. This is my second time.
Exactly, yeah, because last time we talked about post-marketing surveillance in the US and it was really a great episode. And now, yeah, as you are in the US, you maybe know more what's happening. So let's gossip a bit about what's happening there.
Yes,
But
uh,
before that, can we have a small introduction of yourself again for people that don't know you?
absolutely. My name is Rob Packard. I'm the president of Medical Device Academy. We're a regulatory and quality system consulting firm. We only work with medical device companies and primarily only work with the small companies. So, the big J&Js and Abbotts of the world, they're going to have to use their own team of 40 people.
Exactly. I'm the same as you because yeah, so
Yeah,
I'm working for
we like the small companies.
they already have their big team, so don't no need to
Yeah,
have
small but mighty companies. That's who we want to work with. And
exactly.
recently, I was interviewed by a magazine writer, and they had asked me what our goal was. And I said, I could start my own medical device company again. I did that once before, and I would have no trouble fundraising, and I'm sure we could come up with a really great product that would do well. But that's one product. And so our goal is to help 100 small companies every year and for the next 20 years. So when I retire, that'll be 2,000 products that have gotten to market, and hopefully quite a few of those will actually save lives. So like I have a product here for a client that I can share. He said I can. This is a very off-the-shelf, shyly neonate intubator tube. To when you have a newborn that's born and they can't breathe, they'll intubate the baby, but they have to do with something this small. And it's very hard to get it in the right position. And they usually use a stylet, so they suffocate the baby and the baby dies. So you have to be very skilled and do it quickly. So what he developed is a wire inside to
Ah,
navigate. And he has a
okay.
patent and he already did a clinical study. So, and he has breakthrough status. So that's one where the FDA is getting ready for us to be submitting a 510(k) for him. And we got them to do a 510(k) instead of a de novo. And we also got them to agree with the IRB that it would be unethical to do another clinical study for performance because you'd have half the group risk death, because this one would work. You can actually, it's such a thin little wire, you can still breathe through the tube. That's the
Okay.
secret. So
Great.
those are the kinds of products we like to develop.
And I like that also because, as you mentioned, so the idea of being a consultant is also that you can have access to multiple products and not just one and be
Yeah,
specialized in one field. It's like you can be really specialized in many other
yeah.
fields, which
We
is
have a
great
client
also.
that's working on stroke treatments. We have a client that's working on imaging systems for the brain. And so there's all kinds of great products that people invent. And I can only invent so many things and take them to market, but I can help 100 people every year, no problem.
Exactly. I like that. Okay, so let's go now to this topic that mainly everybody is talking about, or maybe nobody heard about it, or I don't know. So we hear, as I've said, about this US government shutdown. And for us, we'll specifically look at the FDA situation because mainly they are part of the government. So
Yep.
mainly what does it have an impact? I mean, can we say that this kind of
It
political thing have an
absolutely does have an
impact or not?
impact, but it's not a very simple impact. It's very complex, so it requires a little bit of explanation. So yes, the government shut down. However, there is a law that says that the FDA, because it provides emergency services and they review drugs and adverse events, and they recall products, and they do for cause inspections, and they inspect our food supply. They control customs, so you can't import things that aren't safe. All that stuff they have to perform. So they have to, by law, keep 10 to 14 weeks of money available to maintain it even during these lapses in coverage. And it's unusual that we're having it in an odd year, a 2025 instead of 2026 or 2024, which would be even years, because we normally have elections on even years, so you have this political dynamic. But because we have a new president that's changing policies and we have Republicans controlling, we're having some Democratic um, problems that are being, they're trying to make basically eliminate the Obamacare that was created, and they don't have enough votes to make it go away, but they do have enough votes to stall everything.
Okay.
And so the Democrats want to keep government going, and the Republicans want what they want, and so you fight. And this, so while they're fighting, it has an impact on everything else. So some things, like the FDA, tend to keep on running, but with a skeleton crew. And when I say skeleton crew, they actually said they think they're going to be able to keep 86% of the staff working, which is more than I was expecting. But other services that rely on money, like um, food and healthcare for people that are poverty level of income and are on special programs, the funding immediately dries up on those programs. So those people, they can't put food on in their fridge. And so that those are bigger concerns that the US population should be worried about. But this is about medical device regulations. So what's the impact on medical devices? You can't submit any new submissions
Okay.
for something that requires a user fee. And
So
that's a
you
key
cannot pay
point. It's the
FDA
user
as soon
fee.
as you have to pay FDA, you cannot pay them. So
Yep. So in order to reduce the amount of workload that they had, they turned off the ability for you to pay new user fees. And they didn't do it part way. They didn't say, well, you can register your product. They said you can't register new products, you can't register your company, and you can't submit any new 510Ks or any de novos or any PMAs. You just can't, period.
so
Um,
it means that now for people that were already paid, if I can say those things before, it's fine. But for the new people that are
yes,
planning to pay
exactly.
from now, they are un,
That's right. So
they are, if I can say, pending for unlimited time because we don't know what's happening there.
um, they're still keeping the review clocks going.
Okay.
So I submitted a supplement yesterday for a client that was in review. And so the review clock restarted, and they have 30 something days to make a decision at the FDA. And if we hadn't responded within the 180 days, they would automatically withdraw. So that part still works, but maybe not all the people that you would normally have are there. They don't have any new submissions coming in to review. It's only existing submissions that are in review. The pre-sub process, they're still letting go because there's no user fees for that.
Okay. Nice.
Um, so that's very helpful to us because we do a lot of pre-subs and we had a lot of products in review. So I have work to do and I'm working on new stuff, but all the clients that were almost ready to submit and didn't quite get everything done by October 1st, they're all sitting there waiting for them to be able to pay user fee. Fortunately, most of our clients got their work done before October 1st because they wanted to take advantage of last year's pricing. So normally I wouldn't plan on submitting a lot of submissions in October that are 510Ks. It would be mostly new pre-subs, and then the 510Ks would be like November and December. So it hasn't had a major impact on us yet because it's still October, at least on the submission side. Now, the other part of that is the registration. You have to register your establishment.
Yeah.
We're a US agent for more than I think it's over 20 companies. So 20 international companies are hearing this ticking clock saying, you know, December 31st, your registration expires. You need to
Yeah,
pay your
exactly.
bill, but they can't. Um, so they're a little bit nervous
I mean,
And they're
it's
like, what's going
paradoxal.
to happen?
It's they says we cannot accept payment, but you have to pay for continuing to sell your devices. Like a
Yep.
bit strange.
So the way it's set up, they can still ship into the US. Their registration is still valid, but only until December 31st. And I think I have a slide here that I can share for you if you enable slide sharing.
I think it's
It's
possible.
not it's not a good news, but it's news.
Let me see if I can, if I should. Yeah, I think it's fine. I mean, for people that are listening, maybe on the Spotify, they will not see that, but yeah, you can still look at.
Yep. So this screen here,
Yeah.
I think you can see it. I just pulled up from somebody's article. They republished the congressional research data, and they showed the four major government shutdowns. Now, it's not FDA shutdowns, it's the whole government. This has happened four times previously, and they show how long it lasted. And so the last time it went until January.
So it's like increasing. It was five days.
Yeah, 5/21. So I think that there's not so much of a trend as there is. Politics is not getting kinder and gentler. It's getting more ugly.
But when we are seeing those numbers here, what is making these days? What is making a stop? What is stopping this shutdown mainly? So what are we looking at now to stop the shutdown?
The the Democrats need to propose something the Republicans can live with, or the Republicans have to propose something the Democrats agree with. And normally, what they will do is they'll create a bipartisan committee that is a smaller group to hammer out a deal. In other words, a compromise that neither one's happy with.
Okay.
And then they will take what they come out with as a compromise and present it to their leadership and see if it's agreeable to the rest of their party. And usually the first one is not accepted, and it takes two or three rounds before they get to where they want to be. But there will be a shutdown in at Thanksgiving time at the end of November, and then they usually go on vacation at the end of December. So the my hope is this is all resolved in the month of October, but it could very easily go all the way to Thanksgiving. And I
So
think it would be in their best interest to not have the government shut down around Thanksgiving time with a whole bunch of people that are on poverty having no food.
here we talk about because so we are located outside of the US, so it's the same situation for US companies or non-US companies. So we are really having the same
Yes.
situation. There is no
Yeah,
advantage
everybody's
if
in
you're
the
in the
same
US.
situation. There's no preference for US versus international. We're all in the same boat. Um, but there are other impacts of the government shutdown than just the FDA. But the FDA shutdown is not a new thing. They've had other things other than the government shutdown that have caused it, such as just renewal of MDUFA. So every 5 years they have a new MDUFA agreement they come up with, and if that doesn't get approved by Congress, things get delayed. And that happened the last time they had a MDUFA agreement, and that went. I thought it would never go past November 3rd or 4th, whatever it was, with the election, and it did. It went beyond that by another couple of weeks. But I'm pretty sure it was resolved before Thanksgiving, and it only impacted the ability for the user fees and things. And it wasn't a government shutdown, so not the same data. But that was very interesting to know that. So I'll stop sharing here.
I stopped sharing already. So,
Okay.
related also to, because here we talk about submission, but any other activities like FDA inspections, or if we have an urgent
Yes.
recall, or if there is a clinical trial. So all those activities are impacted or not at all?
They're impacted, but not entirely. So everything's partial. Um, so the FDA is required to do things that are essential. So if they have to take care of food that might cause illness, so they have to keep up those inspections. If there's a recall, they have to work on that. If there is a for cause inspection, so somebody dies, they have to investigate when there's a death. And so those for cause inspections will occur, but the routine inspections will not continue to occur. So they'll just take what inspectors they have and they'll say, go do all your for cause ones and help out on the food side. What a lot of people don't realize is the inspectors are not dedicated to one type of inspection. So an inspector could be, their expertise could be lasers, and they also do all these other types of inspections, but their expertise could also be orange juice, and they do all these other types of inspections. So you have inspectors that they do medical device inspections, drug inspections, and food inspections, all of the above, and they're going to be prioritized to only the urgent, essential things during the shutdown. And otherwise, they will be furloughed. And so basically what they end up doing is furloughing some people and everybody else they keep working. And it depends on
Following
what the load is.
are they firing people also, or are they putting them like we
There's
have
not
to?
firing. Now, earlier in the year, they had firing.
Okay.
And if you'd like, I actually have a graph that somebody gave me this week on FDA inspections. It's very interesting.
Show us. No problem.
Okay, so I'll share that. And the person that gave it to me, her name is Libby Englander, and her company's Farm 3R, but they do post-market surveillance research for pharma and medical device.
Okay.
And this is the FDA inspections, and the red line is for 2025, and it didn't start dropping in October. The graph ends in October.
June,
It started
even
going
May.
down in May.
Yeah.
So those layoffs that happened early in the year is a more likely reason for this graph than government shutdowns.
Okay.
But there's no rationale provided. There's no explanation. There's no announcement. It's just suddenly we have fewer inspection reports. So is it just nobody's posting the inspections results, and the person that used to post it on the internet was fired? Are they sick? Are they maternity leave? I have no idea.
So yeah, we don't understand now what is on the background. Are the inspections still ongoing, and there's just the result
And
that
I
we have
know there
published?
are inspections still going on personally because I have one of our clients has a supplier in Korea that's going to be inspected in November.
Okay.
And we actually asked, well, because of the government shutdown, are you still doing inspection? And they said at this time we're still planning on it.
Okay,
It's
still
not an
planning.
answer. It's a yeah, I think so, but I'm not sure.
Okay. No, I think it's really,
So
it's really, it's really great because, as I said, it shows also for us as experts, it shows that there is also still some uncertainty. We have no clue, and even FDA sometimes has no real answer to all of that. But in that case, if you were maybe the manufacturers that are in Europe or out of Europe, and you had to advise them to do something, so is there like a trick or something, some tips to provide, or say, do
there are
this?
things you can do, and there are things you can't. You can't pay your user fee right now. What you can do is apply for your small business status. That you can still do. So there's so many companies that are small businesses that forget that they have to apply every year.
Ah, they have to apply every year for being
Yes,
for continuing
small
to be a small
business is
business.
not, it's not just, oh, you make less than 100 million, you get small business status. You actually have to provide a copy of your tax return
Okay.
to the FDA and fill out a form and upload it into their electronic system. And if you do all those things,
meet Alex. He needs to create an electronic instruction for use. With EasyIFU, he uploads the document and in just a second gets a QR code. The code is printed on the packaging and shipped with the product. The user receive it, scan it, and the IFU appears fast and always up to date. Simple, fast, paperless. Easy IFU, the smart way to manage your IFUs.
And we are talking about small businesses, and you said mainly that we have to renew the registration there because yeah, it's really important. Yeah.
Exactly. But companies don't realize that even if they've received it in the past, they have to apply every year because the amount of money your company makes could change. So they require that you submit your tax return or the form with signed, dated, and stamped from your national tax authority saying, yes, you make less than 100 million a year. So the companies forget that they need to do that because it's only once a year. It should be done every year on August 1st. So you can use the 2024 data right now for a 2026 fiscal year. After the new tax year begins next year sometime, depending on what country you're in, then you'll have to provide 2025 data.
Okay.
But because 2025 is still in progress, you can submit 2024 fiscal data for your taxes and apply for small business status in fiscal year 2026. And it takes 60 days for them to grant it. So if you applied now, you're going to get it around Christmas. And then once you have that small business status, then you can apply for or submit your user fee for a 510K or some other submission at the lower rate. But it's a real shame for these companies to wait for them to be able to pay the user fee and then find out, oops, I didn't realize I needed small business status. Now I have to wait another 60 days beyond that.
Exactly. So it's a risk for this company because if they don't do that, they will have to pay a higher fee because they haven't proved that they
Yeah, and
are small businesses. Yeah.
it's $18,000 difference.
Yeah.
And
So
I say to them, like, well, if you don't need the $18,000, just let me fill it out for you and I'll keep the money.
exactly. Give me just yeah, 50%, it's fine. I will take it. Any other advice or any other manufacturers that can do in the meantime?
They should definitely do pre-subs now because the
Yeah.
FDA is still accepting the pre-subs. They should definitely make sure that they have a US agent if they're an international company. Now might be a good time to look at another company that provides US agent services. You provide the authorized representative services for US companies. So I tell my US clients, go talk to Monir and get some help.
Exactly.
Same thing for us. We are a U.S. agent, so any European companies that need a U.S. agent, we provide that service. And I know for a fact that one of the biggest companies that do that, Registrar Corp, they've increased their fees to over $3,000 a year.
Which
Ours
is
is
huge.
$800 for the new companies and $600 for companies that already have it. So that's a
Yeah,
five-fold difference.
exactly. I recommend really to use Medical Device Academy for that because we are also using that mainly for our clients. Each time we have a client, we send that also to Rob for that because I mean we have no office in the US, so we cannot do anything like that. So it's great. Any other thing?
Those are the two big things because in theory, the FDA isn't doing any routine inspections. You should be looking at how can we prevent recalls
Yeah,
right now because they'll still come and inspect you for a recall. And so actually my live stream tomorrow is specifically talking about recalls because one of the people that comments, it's like, how can we prevent recalls? Why are there so many recalls? So that's something that you should be focusing on is preventing deaths, serious injuries, and problems that require recall of a product so you don't have a for-cause inspection. And then when the government gets back up and running, then you'll have to worry about your routine inspections. But for right now, you can breathe a sigh of relief and just focus on not having really bad things happen.
so your company can help manufacturers inside or outside of Europe for challenging the situation or having a strategy for the situation, so you can also provide
Yes.
some services for them.
Yep. We have a company called XAFDA Consultants that we recommend for doing on-site inspections, mock FDA inspections. I've done them myself in a lot of different countries, but you actually have somebody that used to be an FDA inspector come into your facility and do an audit, and they can write the report so it meets both the requirements of an audit as well as preparing you for an FDA inspection. And they will make it really tough on you, but it's private. So
Yeah.
you can learn things, they can give you advice, they can tell you what to fix, and you'll learn a lot from that person. They'll be really tough, but you learn. So now would be a good time to think about mock FDA inspections and improving the things. And I'll give, for anybody that's watching this, it will have already gone live tomorrow. The news is it's not design changes in design that are causing the most of the recalls. That's actually a little ways down the list. The number one thing that causes it is production process controls. So there
Okay.
are other things like labeling and things like that that can affect it. But the number one top of the list is production process controls not having proper validation or not doing line clearance. Things like that cause recalls more than design changes. And so, yeah, you're spending a lot of money on design validation, but that assumes that you made the part to your spec. Production process controls make sure you made it to your spec.
Exactly, yeah. And yeah, so I will advise also, yeah, people to follow you maybe on LinkedIn and also the YouTube channel for Medical Device Academy, because you on LinkedIn, I think you're also doing some live streams.
Every Friday at 12:30 Eastern time, we do live streams, and tomorrow's will be about recalls, and we're going to have a free white paper you can download.
So don't hesitate to go. This episode will go next week, so next week will be maybe another topic that you will talk about. But yeah, don't
Yep,
hesitate to
but
go for that.
they always get posted up on the social media channels so they can watch them after they happened, and they can download still. The white paper won't disappear. It'll just be a download after after the live session.
Right. Okay, so Rob, thank you again for enlightening us on this government shutdown. I hope it helps people to understand the situation and what they can do, I cannot do, and also to be maybe patient because sometimes the political situation makes it like you cannot do anything without waiting. I mean, you have just to wait. It's mainly that. But yeah, and again, anybody that is listening, if you really have any question for US market or need a US agent or support in the US, or Rob Packard from Medical Device Agency Medical Device Academy, sorry, can help you mainly and do that. So I will put also your details on the show notes, but
Thank
mainly,
you.
yeah, you can also go on the website and find all the details. Okay, so Rob, thank you very much, and I wish you then a nice day.
You too. Bye bye.
Bye.